Okie doke. Let's do it. Thanks for joining this live stream and hanging out here. Let me do something real quick in the background. All right, got it all squared away. I've got a C harmonica. I'm going to dive right on in talking about hand technique. Thanks for subscribing and liking the video today. And be sure to check out the video description where I always update it with all the membership information. I've mentioned that a lot, but I've got a really cool membership going on at harmonica123.com. So check it out for access to exclusive blues harmonica content. And today's little tip about hand technique, the discussion, I think that there's some really cool things to talk about that begin with like the hands that are outside of what we do with hand effects. So that means thinking about what your hands are doing in general before you try to create and shape sound with them. So let me open up the app here. Whoa, hold on. All right. Good day to all of you that are tuning in already. Thanks for being here. All right. So C harmonica. So what I mean by the statement I just made is that sometimes we're not considering what your hands are actually doing, and you might be dampening your sound when you don't mean to. So the first step is that be aware of what your hands are doing in general. I'm just going to play a little bit, and then you watch. You can learn a lot by watching. And I want you to notice the way I use my hands when when it's totally off versus all the way covered, where they're moving to. Just see what you can observe, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so let's talk about some of this juicy hand technique. There's a couple positions that make this all kind of like just allow you to relax. Is that when you're playing the harmonica, there are sometimes when there's no need for the other hand to be attached or anywhere around it. So, because what's happening is that a lot of people are just living like this, and then that's creating this one kind of muted sound and dark sound. And it's probably because they're self-conscious. Maybe you're doing this and you don't know it, but maybe they're self-conscious of sound and don't want it to come out, so you're like holding it in. If you're going to do this, have a reason to do it. So like it's on there to change the sound and darken it and make it quieter. And then, of course, you have access to the wah-wahs, which we can talk about in a second. But I want to show you something cool. This is what I tend to do a lot. So I'm living in this position. Look at where my harmonica is. And this position is really comfortable for allowing my wrist to help with the movement of getting to other notes and other holes without just using the head to move up to it. Instead of just doing that, and I can move the head a tiny bit and use this to move at the same time. And that's what I've noticed that I do a lot. So everybody grab a harmonica. This is a C. And think about, and this is nice because it's an open position. So this is the brightest, cleanest sound I can get where it's open like this. Or off would be also the other example. But that means that my hand's ready to go when I want to use it. So instead of covering, my biggest number one tip is learn to play like this. If you want to try what I'm doing, try it like that. And it's really comfortable like that. Okay, my wah-wahs don't happen here. Most books and teachers will show you that you will do a wah-wah from here, right? The pinky would be here and you're kind of I do it, I guess, occasionally, but really for me, this is a sweeter spot to go to, this position, and use the cheek to seal off everything. So I just use the hands to slightly open in this position, but sometimes I do it this way, and there's other wahs where I prefer this, like blow, if I'm blowing a 6 right here, or 5 blow. So just think about this for a minute. Let's recap what I just said. If anything, the hand off or in an open position is your loudest, cleanest, brightest kind of sound you're going to get. And it's the sound that you actually really want, I think, more often than you realize. The quick wahs then are accessible right there. Then that real deeps kind of is combined with bending. Could come off if you want. But I want to point out what the thumb is doing. It's like right there, right on top of hole like 8. And so when you're thinking hand, like what is the hand doing? It's constantly shaping sound for better or for worse, whether you're aware of it or not. If it's around this other hand, you're shaping sound somehow. So be aware of that. I love this position. So because it just gives me an opportunity to keep that clean sound or close it right away. So that's the thing. Of course, we haven't said anything about it, but like you've got the option to take your hand all the way off in the James Cotton fashion. And that is powerful. So when you're coming off like that, we're creating this shape. Let's back up and talk about the left hand for a minute. I've talked about this before, but it's a good reminder. There we go. So I'm keeping a little bit of a bent finger on top. That gives me more real estate up here for the lips to get on and get a nice seal and get good tone out of the instrument. We don't want to play it right at the edge like that. So when you take a look at what you're doing, grab a harp and take a look with me right now and see if you can get that finger like that. And this one here. And just try. And here's the thing, when you try something new, if it's new to you and you're not used to playing like that, it might feel a little off at first, but live with it for a little bit to evaluate. Don't assume. Good morning to my members, Thomas and Chris that are tuning in, YouTube members here, and everyone that's here live. Good to see you. Where was I 40 years ago? In Dallas, Texas, and as a young man. I was like 13 or something. Hey, Aaron, thanks for tuning in from Romania. That's nice. Yeah, Sonny Terry's got some cool stuff going on. I don't have his sound dialed in, but I do have a killer Sonny Terry class with Joe Falisco coming up down the road. So be on the lookout for that to happen. And then I can't remember the date right now, but it's coming down the road. And he's going to go over all of the stylings and secrets of Sonny Terry, which is going to be awesome. All right. So when would you want to have the hand all the way off and never not use it? Sometimes it's nice to just relax this arm. Just because it's not necessary. So if I don't think I'm going to be using it, sometimes I let it just come down and relax. Like just get that hand away. Usually it's somewhere around here, even if it's up like this, so that it's ready if I want to use it. I hope that's making sense. Again, if you keep it like these like bookends or a post at the end here where you're just kind of resting it, you've got options. If you live like this, you're really limited with options. And a lot of people are playing like this and they just don't realize it. Don't be one of those people. Become more self-aware and only do that when it's intentional. Sometimes it's cool to darken it for a minute and then take it off and then darken it. And the tighter the grip, the more you squeeze down on it, the more of a bass response or darker sound you will get. You can actually really cup it tight enough to where the note almost goes away. I'm breathing in the whole time. But it's like I'm really working. So that the variance that you get, the exchange between open and close is what's creating the wah-wah effect. By the way, when I create that kind of really bluesy whoa, 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 I get asked this all the time. I'm focusing on one stream of air. A lot of what people are doing that's not working is they're stopping the air. When they do that, they're going, and they're stopping as the hand opens. Try keeping the air moving like this. One long, clean breath. That's it. No bending or anything. And then somebody say, well, aren't you going wah wah or something? Nope. The hand's doing all of that effect work for me. Hey, Shane, what's up, buddy? Greetings from Turkey. Hey. So you can get this deep wah by focusing on how well you can seal it off and keep the air moving. Listen to it when it comes open. You can hear it's just a clean note. But if you go in time, you get the wah wah. Took a long time to get that to come out the way I wanted. So if you're like, why is mine not sounding like that? Don't get discouraged. Just keep trying and keep changing and adjusting the positioning of your hands. Okay? And then I'm not saying that you can't do this. You absolutely can use this method if you prefer it. Maybe you get a better version down here. But for me, that's more of like a gentle, like tremolo effect. Versus this thing, which is more of a deeper, the way I get the wah wah on the deeper kind of blues sound. Gary Primitz used to use the thumb sometimes just to open up. That's kind of unusual. Or he would also use the hand where, how did he do it? I gotta visualize him playing. He would almost use his, I want to say it was a weird thing, like the hand that's holding the harmonica. So that kind of thing. He had all sorts of hand techniques that were, and other things that were just different from other players. So here's something that we're getting onto this cool topic, which is what can you learn when you're just watching? You replay video of these old greats a lot. You can learn a lot about how to keep good time by the way that they're moving their body. You can try different things in that department. You can look at the stuff for hand technique. You can look at the position of the way they move their head and neck when they're doing warbles. Are they going straight ahead or looking up like Kim Wilson will do a lot? That's intentional. There's a very big sound when you extend the neck like that, and so it's not just show. What else can you learn? All sorts of things. So be watching videos. It's not just the listening. Sometimes you just need to watch and be like, well, what else? How does he hold the microphone? What's going on with the bullet mic, you know? Trying to think of what else I do with these wahs. Sometimes there's a quick opening from a bend that's lifting out like this. Like they're quick ones. Versus a repeated wah wah where I'm just going. So they're note shaping. It's a quick note shape. And yeah, I'm bending, but it's this opening that exaggerates it. or one of these quick pops. That's more like maybe Sonny Terry or other guys would use more of like a quick underneath kind of. I'm not trying to play a Sonny Terry riff, but I'm just trying to show you how the hand might work like that. And there's another really random one that I don't really use too much, but I developed I don't know if I still have the muscle memory to do it. If you want a super fast tremolo effect, you can focus on tensioning your forearm. And by tensioning it, the hand will shake as a result of that tension you bring into here, and that gives you that quick. It's hard for me to do that. I don't know. Specific, kind of maybe a very specific application for that. But the thing is to be aware. You're trying to develop this cool awareness of like, my hands are everything that's happening is for a reason. There's nothing that's just happening and I don't really know why. I always know why I'm doing a certain thing. That goes beyond just hand technique too. I can't tell you how much this helps though. That was the first thing we started at. If you're just joining, C harmonica, just doing like, get your wrist warmed up in your right hand. There's my left hand here holding. And try grabbing the 7 draw by flicking the wrist. It's one way of using it to show you that you can develop. It's like a typewriter moving the thing over, but you're developing speed that way. Act like a quick movement to get somewhere. All right. Hand technique. Work on it. Use the biggest thing I said today that would be the caution thing. If you missed it, was if you're always living like this, don't try to get that hand off. Practice one-handed to retrain the muscle memory, so you're not, the habit, to get rid of that habit. Then reintroduce the hand with purpose and intention of like what it's going to do. But if you're like, gosh, that is me. I'm always playing like this with the hand like covering, and I don't even think about that. Don't do that. Like, have it off a little, because you really you're just squelching your sound. You're burying it. Yeah. All right. That's what I got. What do you have? What do you guys have for me? Blind Owl, you said different technique for when the bullet's in your hand? Not really. I mean, yes, in a way, because the bullet mic. One sec. I think I have a bullet mic right here. I really need to reorganize all the equipment. Okay. So here's a bullet mic buried at, of course, the very bottom of my bag. Gee whiz. This is a disaster in here. Good God. All right. 2 fingers. Everybody try that if you got one. It's a static shell. 2 fingers. Pretty much want that up to the end. Get your harmonica in there. And then, same technique. I keep this here. But often in amplified playing, we actually want the big full bottom end sound by sealing off a lot. Listen to how quiet it gets, even though I'm not plugged in. So all that sound is encapsulated and going straight into the mic, giving you more volume, more bass response. So, but to answer your question, it's the 2 fingers, and it's really the same kind of technique. You can do this. A lot of players do this. I don't. I know a lot of people do. Even famous players, great players. So that can work fine. I don't like it. I really like this. That's how I play. Straight ahead or with the lean. The lean is about sealing it off even more. But we're not really getting too deep into the amplified stuff here today. Exactly. Someone once told me that the head warble is for precision and the hand warble is for speed. Maybe. Uh, I would say the hand warble tends to be faster, so that makes sense. But precision with the head and not the hand, I think you can get precision on either. I know players that use both. Like Big Walter used both. Kim Wilson every once in a while uses the right hand, but he's primarily a head shake guy. They have different sounds. You know, this is a very rapid kind of. I don't use that too much, but I developed the head movement, keeping the harp stationary. I think it's a lot of this just comes down to experimenting, and it's an important part of your journey. Is like what feels good for me. However, you need to revisit things if you ruled something out. For example, this is a great point. A lot of people say, no, 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 I don't do that head shake. It makes me dizzy. There's been a lot of people that said that to me. Like, yeah, I don't do it. Just I get whoa. Well, it just never occurred to them maybe that their technique is off. That it's not that they're prone to getting dizzy and that's what it does to them. And I can tell you why I think it happens is, and I could be wrong, maybe for some people it's just not a good fit, but like they're going too much of a shake. Look at my head shake, it's barely moving. It's this small movement. That doesn't make you dizzy doing this. But if you're going like this, yeah, I could see where your feels like your brain's being rattled. Like you're going too far. You just need to limit the head movement. It's only 2 holes that we're crossing. So revisit techniques you've written off. If you've heard many people say the same thing, like, hey, a head shake is a good way to do a blues warble, and it didn't work for you at one point, come back to it down the road and try it again. See if you can adjust the technique to get it to feel right and sound right. Yeah, that mic control and etiquette. Yeah, so there you go. David said, I get a headache when I shake my head. I'm telling you, David, it could be technique. You get older, your brain shrinks, so you get more to. I don't know if you're trying to be funny. I'm assuming so, but okay. So like, it could be technique, David. Look at the way you're doing it in the mirror next time and see if it looks like this. Versus if it's this stuff, I totally understand why you'd get a headache. But no, I'm not trying to convince anybody or change you. You may have another way to get this effect or sound, and it works just fine. Now the question is, when should you use it? Maybe we haven't talked about that. It's a good way to segue out of the technique itself. Is like, well, it's an instrument of, or it's a tool for coloring. Let's say a note. Do you hear that? These subtle ones are nice too. And I think that you just let mine develop naturally. I didn't really try to think, but I would say long notes are a good starting point. Anytime you're going to play legato, just try experimenting with a hand technique or a warble or a vibrato. Those are good areas for those techniques to begin introducing them into your playing. Cool. Yeah, Randall, he's got a jaw warble thing. This thing. That's cool. And so there's many ways to accomplish it. You don't have to limit yourself. You got to experiment. So maybe at first a good experiment with how to integrate it is put on a track and think about like every second or third phrase, thinking of one note that you want to bring it in on. Dirty notes are great to bring that in on. You can use them on clean single notes, bends that are, any of your bending or lifting out of bends like I've been doing. You can bring it in on an octave. The dirty notes, like playing 4 and 5 draw, that's a great area to consider bringing in hand technique too, because it's just a really bluesy sound already with those dirty notes, and now you're bringing in the hand wah to really even accentuate it more. So get your hand techniques in general working for you, not against you. Less is more, you already said it, but don't live here. It's like having a conversation with somebody just doing this the whole time. You can hear them, you can kind of understand what's going on, but it's not easy. Sounds real muddy and muffled. It's the same thing. It's what you're doing. You're doing this. You're just muting that sound, and it's not where you want to live. I think you'll get a lot more. You'll get better results by experimenting with this position. How many people, let me know in the chat, have used this position that I keep talking about with the pointer finger resting against the edge like this? I don't know a lot of people that do it. I'm sure there are. I'm definitely not the only person doing this, but like, this is what feels just so good to me, to keep this like this. This pointer finger right on top. And sometimes like this. I pointed that out as well. So it's both. It's sometimes that it's this padding right here when I'm not trying to use the effect, when I'm just moving. But it goes down here by the time I'm going to engage in any of the hand technique. Hope that's helpful to some of you out there. It's great to see you. Thanks for giving the video a like and tuning in today. It's an exciting day because today is day 27 of live streaming and or posting on my channel. Don't worry, I won't do this forever, but it's the month of January, a goal that I had in mind to try it. And I think that if I continued in February with everyday streaming or posting, that I would burn you guys out. I might burn myself out. But I will make it a commitment, a soft commitment, to try to do a minimum of 2 to 3 videos a week. That would be plenty. But this has been a push. It's been fun coming on and connecting with everybody on a regular basis, and it's a great way to start the year. Another great way to start the year is to come hang out with me at my membership, join my live classes over at harmonica123.com, and see what's going on over there. I'm going to put out some testimonials soon so you can see what others are saying about it. And yeah, I'm just having a blast connecting with members through these classes, and also Q&A session for gold members. We just did one yesterday through Zoom. It's been a lot of fun. So I appreciate all the support and checking it out. That's what I got. I will see you tomorrow. How's that? Come back and join me tomorrow sometime. Most likely in the morning hours tomorrow, actually. I can pretty much guarantee that. Sometime in the morning. Might be an earlier stream, actually. Morning. Look for me somewhere in that neighborhood of, like, if I had to guess, 8 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'll catch you.